Welcome to part 2 of the Daniel Ricciardo Series Arrive and Drive full review.
This is a parent's review of the Arrive and Drive on a very rainy day in February.
Extremely rainy. Hope you've seen our previous video, link above there, where we interview Andy Cox. I'm Andy.
I'm Kaz.
This is Zenico Racing. Welcome to Shannington Kart Circuit. We are here for the Daniel Ricciardo Series. It's their first academy session, brand new karts. Zach and Fletcher are here to test them, so let's get the boys in the karts. Back in February of this year, we were very lucky and we got invited to review the new Daniel Ricciardo Series Arrive and Drive.
Yeah, we've never done an Arrive and Drive before, so this was our first experience and kind of wanted to tell you guys what that was all about.
So we're going to talk about a number of things. We'll go through our day of how we found it, how the kids thought about it, the safety aspect, and it's a really good step for your child to go from corporate karting before owner driver into that bit in between, and that is the Daniel Ricciardo Series Arrive and Drive. Well, let's talk about the categories. So what is DRS? So there's two classes, DRS 35 and DRS 45. I've got it written down here, so make sure I get it right. So the DRS 35 is the minimum driver weight is 27 kilos, and the actual driver class weight is 35 kilos. So the driver's got to be 27 kilos minimum for that. Then you've got the DRS 45, which it says it's a 45 kilo thing, and the minimum class weight is
41.
Age-wise, on the year of your 8th birthday, you can start doing the Arrive and Drive series all the way up to your 13th birthday. So during this review, we're going to talk about a number of things. We'll talk about the day in whole. We'll break it down into the sign-on, the welcome talk, how the karts are explained to the kids, the track walk, another briefing, and actually what the boys actually done on track. So let's start with the sign-on process. I didn't see the sign-on process, you did, so what was it like?
They've got a reception area, so really easy. Walk in, there's a desk there was someone there to welcome you in. Felt very welcoming. She explained what we needed to do, and so didn't feel intimidated, and quite easy to sort of get that process done, and it was a very smooth sort of transition between walking in and getting...
And this is where the kids got given their race numbers, what goes on their car, and their transponders, wasn't it?
That's absolutely right, yeah.
So as we signed in, we went to the welcome talk, which is given by Andy Cox. How did you find that? Yeah,
it was really welcoming, hence the name, but felt like that they were really catering to everyone that was there. There's different ages, there's people that have never driven a kart before, and those that have done karting quite regularly. So the welcome was very engaging, and it made you feel like that if you had any questions that we could ask those questions. So yeah, it was
and
great.
There's a real mix of kids there, kids who have been karting before, kids who haven't been karting before. So let's have a look at the footage to remind ourselves what's happened.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. So I'm Andy Cox. So I look after the Daniel Ricciardo Series, and if everybody's met Jane and you got your transponder, super. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go out and have a walk around the track. Okay, we're going to go around the track and we're going to point out a few bits and bobs and where you need to go and what you need to do and what you don't need to do. And if you go on TikTok or Instagram, you'll see 3 little videos that we did this morning. So if you do forget what I told you when we're on the track walk, don't worry. You can do a quick recap by looking at the Instagram. It's probably on the Facebook as well, and the TikTok. Okay. So you don't need your crash helmet. You probably need a coat. Who's excited that we're on wet tires? Okay, so, well, there's a big difference between slicks and wets, okay? So, yeah, and also there's a little bit of difference in the racing line that you'll take, but we'll have a look at that in a second. So, right, kids, let's go. Any of the parents want to come along, you're very welcome to do so.
That was given by Andy Cox. How do you think about that?
Some of the kids hadn't karted before, and some had done hire karts themselves or even own a kart. So it felt like he was engaging with all of those sort of categories of children and all of the experiences.
So it caters for a wide range of kids. So after this welcome talk, we then went on to the karts being explained to us.
Grid, it's the driver and one other person, either mum or dad, whoever's with you. And you come on the grid, and first of all, the driver, when you check in with Ethan, when you'll be coming through the top gate, if you need a seat insert, you see the rack there, you can get a seat insert, okay? And obviously you can place that in the seat. And the main thing is to get the driver in the seat first. When you get in the cart, you need to get in from this side and you need to stand in the seat, and then you need to lower yourself down. Always get away from the cart this way, okay? Don't touch anything on the engine because it's hot, and never touch the exhaust because that's hot as well. If you then get mum or dad, you put your number plate, you just pull the clips out, you put the bottom hole on first and then the top, and then obviously you put your clips back in to secure it. At the same time, you get your transponder, that's on a wire, and you clip your transponder into there. If you want to adjust the steering, you turn that down and you can slide it down or you can slide it up. And then to get this lever out of the way, you pull the orange lever and you can push it up so it's out of the way. If you need to do the seat, pull the lever here, you can slide forward or you can slide back, okay? Once the driver's, all those three things are secure, make sure the seat's secure, the pedals are secure, transponder, number plate, and then if mum or dad then could make their way back out and to one of the spectator areas. We're not running the ballast today, but if we do run the ballast, you can get your ballast from Jane today if you're racing in the series already. Take the clip off, you slide your ballast onto there, and then you put the clip on, close the tag, and then that can't come off, and you're ready to go. Any questions? No. Okay, right, let's go on the track.
Yeah, that bit was on the grid. Andy went through the car in quite a lot of detail, which we hadn't experienced before. So he went through the real basics of even getting in and out of a kart, which was great because you can't assume that all children have ever karted, so even the getting in and out of the kart. And then he went into more detail in terms of the positioning of the wheel, position of the seat, how the wheels were covered to protect the wheels, because that often happens in hire karts. He spoke about having wet tyres, and talked about ballast, so if your children aren't hitting the weight that you just spoke about, that you could add weight on to be able to hit that category. So yeah, it was really detailed, and yeah, it was really informative.
And what I really liked is the amount of adjustments on the carts. If you haven't seen our other video where we talk about where Andy introduced the actual DRS kart, explains all those adjustments in more detail, but you can do the steering, the seat, the pedals. It's got a lot of adaptability there, isn't it, to suit all sizes of children. So after that, it was track walk. I wasn't there for the track walk. You got to do the track walk. Yeah,
so the track walk was one of the first that I've experienced in that much detail. He was talking about the dry lines and the wet lines, and we've already said about the weather, so talking about how the children will be able to drive in that wet conditions. He was talking about the apex, he was talking about braking points, but he made it really interactive, so he was getting the kids to run up to where they believe the braking point was. Track walks can be a little bit boring, but they're super important, so to get it to be so engaging, I felt was a real difference that we'd not experienced before.
Let's remind ourselves, let's have a look.
First of all, when you are leaving the grid, okay, it's very important, kids, you don't just go flat out, you always squeeze. So my terminology is this: I call it the gas, which is accelerator to go faster, and brake obviously to brake and to stop. So I just want you to squeeze the gas when you come out of the pits. Don't just go flat out on the gas, because the engine needs to gently pick up. And when you ease yourself out of the pits, what you need to understand is your tyres are cold, whether it's the slicks or whether it's the wets. So you just need to pay attention, because it might not steer very well to begin with. Just get through the first corner, and when you exit Cafe Corner, you're going to get the cart to come right out to the white line, okay? The edge of the track. And then a corner like this, you need braking, okay? So we're going to be braking at the red cone. Braking, and then the next cone, what do you think that is?
Lift off. Lift off.
Lift off, it's not a rocket. Okay guys, so this is the Stratford Bend turn, okay? So we're making a nice radius here, okay? And when it's raining, it's a little better just to stay a little bit wider on the entry to the corner. The belly of the cart on there, and the cart can grab and it can crash you into the barriers. Stay in the cart until the marshal says up, and then the marshal will open the gate, and then you all go out, okay? Mums and dads, you need to be waiting at this gate, and when the kids go out, you need to retrieve the number plate, and you also need to retrieve your transponder, and if we were racing, you'd also need to take any ballast that you've got, and that's it.
So yeah, you can see there from the footage, it was really interesting. I like the way that the kids were engaged. You had them running across, you know, to show where the apex braking point, and it was really, really engaging. And as you said, track walks can be a bit tedious sometimes, but it's a really important fact. And the other thing I liked that I forgot he'd done is he talks about the wet and the dry line, which is really, really important. So after the track walk, it was back into the reception for a full briefing.
Yeah, so this briefing was a bit different to the first welcoming one. This was a little bit more serious because, as we all know, karting is dangerous and motorsport is a dangerous game. So he was a guy from Motorsport UK, and he was giving us like the rules and regulations and what he expected from the kids that day, what they should and shouldn't do, and he's setting sort of the standard for the day, really.
It is important that you know what the flags are. So you should have really been looking at them before you come here, because when you go out on circuit, if we have to put a yellow flag out, we would like you to adhere to the yellow flag. Now I'm just going to ask a general question. Young man at the back there with a black jacket on, what is a yellow flag, do you know?
It's half racing speed.
That's all I need. Yeah.
So let's have a quick test. So Matt just touched on the yellow flag. What can somebody tell me more about a yellow flag? Yes?
Like, you need to be cautious and be careful and also go half the racing speed.
So I'd like you to think that I want you to drive safely. I don't want you to drive slow, I want you to drive safely, and there is a difference. Yeah? Everyone happy?
Yeah.
So if we could have the DRS 35 for the first session, if you can get your crash helmet on, you put rip protection on your plate, and you go up to the top gate and see Ethan and get in the car.
Also like the fact of he was actually engaging kids and checking their knowledge of the flags. And you said, you know, Motorsport UK, it was all within regulations, making sure they knew what they was going to do on that track. And as he said, you know, don't drive slow, drive fast, but drive safe.
Yeah.
And that was really important. And then after that, it was back out into the actual karts on track. So have a look at some of the footage that we had from that.
Do it like that. Do it on the bottom.
Yeah.
Right. So that, and then the top.
Yeah.
That better?
Yeah.
This video wouldn't be possible without sponsors, so a big thanks to Cambox who is sponsoring this video today. In fact, on the track we had the boys in cam boxes, so let's have a look at the footage of what a cam box can actually give you.
Pedals down. Yeah, is that comfortable?
Yeah.
As you can tell by this footage, you know, the cam box gives a really in-depth view of what your driver sees. You can see their foot movements, you can see everywhere they're looking. So it's an ideal companion for when you're trying to give feedback to your drivers. So if you want a cam box, go to Cambox UK, enter our voucher code Zenico, get 5% off your first purchase. You know, the karts are quite quick, and you know, it was really interesting about how quick it was, the turnaround. You know, we've all been to race meetings, we've all been there where you got lots of delays between the kids getting out, and they can get a bit bored, but this was different, wasn't it?
Yeah, it felt, the turnaround was really quick, and that kept the kids really engaged in actually the day. As you just said, sometimes the gaps between races can be really long, and so having those two separate categories and each race going out almost one after the other felt like the turnaround was really good.
And it's not actually a race, it's them going out learning, isn't it? Because when they come in, and in his team will debrief them actually in their karts and say, you know, brake early on this corner, you've done really well here, or, you know, change this. So they're actually getting feedback. So as your kids are going out doing this academy session, which is all about seat time and learning, they're getting feedback instantly, which I find really interesting. It's quite personal as well, isn't it?
Yeah, he felt like each child was getting their feedback based on what he'd seen them on the track. So it felt like that he was really interested, or whoever was talking to them, really interested in it, like progressing the child in their kart and getting them to drive better.
And another thing I did notice as well is one of the DRS marshals was actually at the gate. So before you actually go anywhere near the actual grid where you start, they're checking safety. They're checking the helmets are right. They've got, you know, rib protectors on, you know, and that was really good as well. So you know your kids are in safe hands. And you know, I've missed it before. I've put Zach out on the track and I've not done his neck up. So that's really good as well, that everything's double checked and checked again. So, you know, safety is paramount when your kids are doing this.
Yeah, they was checking the helmets, because obviously the safety of the helmets is paramount, and so there was someone there just to check that it was tight enough and that they were safe to go out on the track.
But overall, it was a really good day, and you know, on that day the kids went out 6 times. I say the swap around was really, really quick. So, you know, hats off to Andy. That was really, really interesting. But then we got brought back in, didn't we, for a second briefing?
Yeah, which we were really surprised about, because we'd never had a sort of mid-afternoon briefing. It's always been 1 in the morning, and that was about rolling starts.
It is. Let's have a look, see what they talked about.
Some of you have done starts before, okay? So what's really important, okay, are 2 major things. When you go out the pits, what your speed is like and how you control the karts. So in other words, you don't go out the pits and go crazy and go flat out. You need to go out the pits alongside the person that you're with. If we're going like this, you need to make sure that you've got 2 lines. If you're going too quick, we'll tell you to slow down. It doesn't mean slam on the brakes. We just need it nice and consistent. And if you see us do this, it means it's not going to be a start, and you carry on gliding round, nice and medium speed, okay, and you're doing another lap, which means when you come round again, okay, come round the last corner, where have you got to be on the track? In your lane. And you need to stay in your lane. You can't overtake. And as the number 1 and number 2 go by the yellow cones, okay, which is the acceleration line, as 1 and 2 accelerate together, if the lights go off, then you're allowed to come out your lane, okay, and obviously the session starts, and then you go to your race. So you need to understand this is a really important part of the day, okay?
It's nice, smooth, you're in your tram lines, you approach the line nice and controlled, go past the acceleration line, lights go out, that's when you start racing. You do not go racing until those lights go out. But here, we're not doing racing, we are just simulating that start. We just want to see how well you control it, going around like in this controlled formation lap, which is why it's called a formation lap, because you go in formation, yes?
So I think this was really brave of the Daniel Ricciardo series, because they actually explained to the kids about a real rolling start. As we know from our own children, most kids don't get to do a rolling start until they enter an actual race.
Yeah, and they're quite daunted. If you've ever watched one, they can be quite savage. So to have it explained to them, I've never seen that before, and felt like that was a really good addition. And the fact that they had done that in the middle of the day, if they'd done that at the start of the day, I think some of the children might have forgotten the rules around that. So to have it just before they went out I thought was a really good touch.
Yeah, and also I found, I like the fact that, you know, they were slowing them right down, making sure the pace was correct. You know, they even stopped them on the grid and explained again how important that rolling start is, and rolling starts can be carnage.
Yeah.
We know that. You know, Zach and Fletcher, they'd never done one before until they actually started racing.
Yeah.
So to have that experience, I think is a really brave move and a very clever move from the DRS. So that was the end of our day. Really, really interesting. So how did Fletcher enjoy it?
He really enjoyed it. I think he started off as in a hire kart, as did Zach. So he has now gone into an owner kart. So I think his perception was that it was going to be really slow, and it wasn't anywhere near as slow as the hire karts he's been in before. The addition of the wet tyres was great. Obviously it was raining, so that gave them that extra grip and that extra speed that he probably wouldn't have had it not been like that.
And it's a fine line, isn't it? So when you think about, you know, a lot of these kids when they arrive and drive might have literally just come out of corporate karting, you know, quite slow.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's a really hard decision of how quick you make these karts go. Again, if you look at our review about the actual DRS kart itself, Andy talks about the speed and how they work and the actual engines on them. And it is basically a mini Rotax.
Yeah, it's that stepping stone, isn't it, between that hire kart and an owner kart, not in terms of value, but also in terms of speed, and it's that next step up before you get into being really fast on the track.
Yeah, and I think with Zach, he's in an R200, Fletcher's in a junior Rotax, you know, so they're both quite quick, but they found it acceptable.
Yeah, how did Zach find it? Is that the same? He
was the same. He obviously it's a lot slower in his own car, but it was still, you know, a really good experience for him. He really enjoyed it. So I think from the two kids, it's a thumbs up.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a thumbs up. Biggest question, how much was it?
Yeah.
Pricing wise. So currently on the DRS website, it's advertised as the Academy session is £95 per driver. Now, I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that the value for money in terms of the, I guess, tuition, the information you get, definitely felt like £95 felt like value for money.
Yeah, and when you think about, you go to a standard hire kart, you would spend sometimes 60 quid for 30 minutes on the track, and you got no feedback, you literally get in the car and drive. And to be fair, they're most of them are pretty rubbish. So whereas here you're in the top, brand new karts, you're getting feedback. So I think £95 for a day is really good value as a parent.
Yeah, absolutely.
So after this day, we were really lucky. Zach and myself, we got invited back to go and take part in round 1 of the actual Daniel Ricciardo Series championships. That was really, really good experience. So the price of that is really, really good. So there are 8 rounds across the UK, across all the tracks, including some of the international ones, and it's £295.
Okay.
Which I think is really good.
Yeah, it is.
And if you equate that to owner driving, an actual race weekend, what they £170, £190
plus tyres,
plus any damage that happens to the karts, and you're actually involved in a championship, and you get the award ceremony afterwards. You get a presentation of trophies. So a big thanks to the DRS for inviting us to do that, and we walked away with a trophy, which is always a bonus. Okay, so let's actually review this about would we do this again, or what stage of karting would we recommend parents to go and do this? What's your thoughts?
I think that it's a great stepping stone if you've only done hire karts and you want to sort of dip your toe in the water of, are you going to own a kart yourself? I think it's a really good stepping stone. We've gone past that. So for us, we wouldn't do it again, but only because we've made that leap already. It was a really good experience, and I think that it is different from hire karts, and it does give you that extra speed, the wet tyres, the tuition, gives you a sort of insight into the owner kart world. So I think it's that stepping stone into owning your own kart. How about you?
I tend to agree. I think, again, for us, we're owner karters, Zach's in the championship at the moment, so we wouldn't dip back in, but I think if your child is literally, as you say, in the process of going from corporate karting, thinking about getting owner karts, stop. I think this is the ideal place to go. Go and get some seat time, do a championship with the Daniel Ricciardo Series. And the good thing about Daniel Ricciardo Series is you can actually move on to owner karting within the DRS system.
Yeah, which is great because it's that pathway that you might not know how to navigate. So.
Yeah, so there's, again, if you watch our videos up here, up there, you can see our interviews with DRS drivers who are owner drivers. So from us, I think it's a big thanks.
Yes, thank you very much.
We thoroughly enjoyed it. We thoroughly recommend it. Watch out for our reviews. We've got some more coming. We've got Club 100s on the editing table. We're going to be Kart Mania 2024.
Yep.
Come and see us there for any advice you want. But no, thank you very much. Start again. Get right down here. You break my knees doing this, Right, so what's your name?
Jasper.
Jasper, and how old are you, Jasper? 8. 8. So why are you here today?
Because I want to be a Formula 1 driver and hopefully pass the test of the Daniel Ricciardo Series.
Okay, so you're looking forward to the test today?
Yes.
So what have you been doing so far karting?
I've been practicing in the Balbinos. It was last year because I was seven, and I was at Three Sisters.
So this is your first time in a real kart?
This is my first time in a faster kart.
And it's raining?
Yes. Even though I've done a race with slicks on in the rain.
I'm sure you'll be fine. Good luck out there today.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Hey! Confident?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to get there? Yeah, you'll be fine. Right, so what's your name?
Genevieve.
Genevieve. So how old are you, Genevieve?
I'm 12.
12. So what karting experience have you got?
I have been doing a series named the SRK, and it's like Southern Regional Karting. And I've also been doing Castle Coombe and some team sports around.
And team sport. So why DRS?
Because I aspire to have a career in motorsport, and I want to do it for the girls. And
Okay. So this is your first time in the Daniel Ricciardo Kart?
yeah,
Okay, what bit are you looking forward to?
how fast it's going to be.
So it's your first road tax, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. So have you raced Shellington before?
Never, no.
And it's wet?
Yeah.
Looking forward to it?
Yeah, I've done the wet before, so
You'll be fine then. Well done. Well, good luck on the track.
thank you.
There we go. Hey!
The best thing about DRS is probably the fast karts. I felt like I was whizzing around the track, and I love feeling that that adrenaline.
I think just knowing that my child is coming here, getting the best experience and being really safe is really important for me.
Play the rolling start because I love the race, but I didn't like the when it absolutely chucks it down.
I think the best bit for me was probably the camaraderie in the pits, getting to know some of the other parents and just watching Bailey have fun because he seemed to have a great time, and one kids have a great time, so the parents.
Just answering. Don't be nervous. Yeah? You can be YouTube famous. Yeah. Right, we still ready?
Yep.
Come on, go. Right, what's your name, young man?
My name is Maxim.
Maxim. So how old are you, Maxim?
I'm 10.
10. So you're here today at Daniel Ricciardo Series?
Yeah.
So what are you going to try and achieve today?
Try and get my fastest lap time.
Your fastest lap time. Have you ever raced at Shellington before?
No.
No, it's the first time on the track.
Yeah.
So Daniel Ricciardo Series, why choose DRS?
Because I believe that this is the best.
This is the best. We'll find out today, won't we?
Yeah.
Well, good luck on the track.
Good.
Russ, thank you so much.
I'm
for your
dried off
time.
now.
Yeah, I was about to say I'm a bit dry now. It's been
Thank
a
you
wet
very
day.
much.
Lovely to be here. Thank you so much
you.
for the experience.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you ever so much for today.
That's all right.
That's it.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay, right then.
Get out.
Get out.
Get out of it. This is a parents' review of the Arrive and Drive DRS in. Oh,
You said DRS again.
I know.
Yeah, I said DRS and you said DRS.
DRS.
It's too
Okay.
much.
Too many DRSs. Yeah.
You can say Arrive and Drive.
Yeah, I'm going to
Yeah.
say Arrive and Drive. Sorry.
Have you on social media?
No!
February at Shellington Kart Circuit.
Don't know what I'm meant to be saying.
Yeah.
What am I meant to be
I'll do
saying?
whatever you want to say. Yeah. Right, start again. It was wet outside. How did you find that?
Yeah, he spoke to us about like how.
Don't make you making tea, by the way. I had a teaspoon.
Get heard a teaspoon. Oh, teaspoon.
There you go.
There we go. You know, couldn't be possible without sponsors. So a big thanks to Cambox for sponsoring this vehicle. Vehicle. Yeah.
Extra 4.
Not high carts, Arrive and Drive. You gotta get that right. You gotta get that right.
Okay, just put it up there.
So we can probably put that in. No, do. Right, let's have a look at the footage. See if it came out like. Let's see if we got.